What's the worst lie your family believed about you? My mom told the whole family I got fired, and they even threw a pity dinner for me, but they didn't know I quit on purpose because I was building something way bigger. I had a job that looked really good on paper, and it paid decent money with nice benefits, so my parents thought I was doing something respectable, but it actually made me miserable. I woke up every day with this awful feeling in my chest because my boss was always on my back and the work was boring, so I felt like I was wasting my time doing things that didn't matter. One morning, I sat in traffic for an hour just to get yelled at for being 2 minutes late, so I decided I was done, and I walked out with my stuff because I couldn't take it anymore. It felt scary at first, but I had been quietly saving for this moment for over a year because I had a big idea and I wanted to try making my own business. But when I told my mom I quit, she panicked. And by the end of the week, the entire family had heard a different version of the story because she told them I had been fired without warning and was struggling to find work. But I didn't correct her. Instead, I figured it would buy me some time to focus without everyone breathing down my neck. But later, my mom invited me to dinner and she told me it was just to check in on me. But when I got there and saw everyone's faces, I knew it was a pity party for me. My uncle offered me a side gig. He wanted me to deliver water for him. And my cousin talked about tough times like he was giving a TED talk, and even my dad looked embarrassed. But I smiled and thanked them for their support. I went home and worked harder than I ever had before because I wanted to prove them wrong. I was building a small online store, and it was simple with just a website, a few digital products I created, and some marketing through social media. I'd read enough to know it wouldn't blow up overnight, but I had a plan. Every day, I worked from morning to midnight, and I wrote copies, designed ads, tested new ideas, and watched every free tutorial I could find online. The money came slow at first, just a few dollars here and there, but it showed me it could work. My brother hosted a family barbecue and invited me, and everything seemed normal until dessert, when he made a toast. It started nice, but then he told everyone it was for people who still had jobs, so they laughed, and my parents looked at me awkwardly, but I just sipped my drink and kept my mouth shut. I could have told them the truth, but instead I used it to push me harder. That night I stayed up till super late working on a new product launch. I rewrote my emails, redesigned my site, and set up a better checkout system. A few days later, I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing like crazy, but it was orders, dozens of them, and I made over $1,200 in one night, then $5,000 by the week's end. But I didn't tell anyone. The business kept growing and I reinvested every dollar back in. I hired a freelancer to help with customer service and partnered with a friend who knew design. We launched a second product line, and that one really took off, and within 4 months, I was making more than I ever did at my old job. But my family still thought I was unemployed and had nothing. Then my mom surprised me again and invited me to a family brunch and told me a family friend would be there. She told me he might have a good job for me, but when I asked what she meant, she told me I wasn't doing anything now, but I smiled and told her I would be there. At brunch, the guy gave me his card and told me he had work if I wasn't picky, and my cousin laughed and told me I could finally get off the couch, but they didn't know I'd signed a lease for a new house and paid for it in full. I kept it a secret and didn't tell anyone right away. Instead, I planned something big. A few weeks later, I sent out invites for a dinner at my new place and told them it was a life update dinner. So my mom assumed it was a job announcement or maybe even a goodbye party. Everyone came. My dad, my cousins, my brother, even the family friend guy. But when they pulled into the driveway, I watched their jaws drop because the house was big. Not mansion level, but definitely a serious upgrade. And inside, I had a catered meal waiting, music playing, wine on the table, and everything looked perfect. They walked in slowly, confused but curious, and I waited until everyone was seated, then gave a little speech. I told them I appreciated their concern and that I knew they all meant well, even when it didn't seem like it, but then I told them the truth. I hadn't been fired, I quit, and I used the time they thought I was down to build something for myself. No one said a word at first, and my brother looked embarrassed. My cousin stared at his plate, and my dad nodded slow like he knew how to process it, but that night changed everything. Afterward, a few family members asked how I did it, and one even told me he had an idea and wanted advice. And even though it felt good to finally get that respect, a small part of me still remembered every joke and every moment they didn't believe in me. Now, it's been almost a year since that dinner, and I still live quietly and work hard, but now, when the family talks about success stories, they mention me.